The male lead is as common as dirt around here. In the hospital, there's only one bag of rare blood. The lovesick male lead is on the verge of losing his mind. He shouts, "This blood is for Lily, I choose Lily. Annabelle Chen, I'm sure you can get through this on your own." The white moonlight female lead, gasping for air, is moved to tears. I cried too. Is this something a human being would do? But the doctor tells the nurse, "Give the panda blood to room 10 first." Hearing this, the lovesick male lead can't stand it. His eyes are wide, jaw agape, wishing he could snatch it himself. I said, "It's for Lily. Without this blood, she'll die." "Really?" The doctor holds up the blood test results, speechless. "She's normal-type blood. How would she die without this? Please explain it to me." In this insane world, overbearing CEOs are a dime a dozen, and innocent female leads are everywhere. At any moment, you can witness classic scenes like a hand around a waist, eyes turning red, "My life for you, girl," or "You've successfully captured my attention," or "Today, Donovan took me to Met X-Way." In short, they run, they chase, and even if they grew wings, it would be hard for them to escape their grasp. But I'm different. My salary is low, the risks are high, and the psychological pressure is immense. Because I am the only supporting female lead here. Just like today, I was walking down the street when I passed an overbearing CEO with bloodshot eyes. He was speeding on the main road, heading to the airport to chase after his wife. Meanwhile, I was happily on my way to KFC. As a result, the CEO's car crashed into the median. Bricks flew up from the road and hit us who were 100 meters away. We all ended up in the hospital. He fell into a coma, losing his memory, lying in the ICU, clinging to life. The female lead rushed from the airport, crying like rain. I lay in a regular ward, my head bandaged like a mummy. How foolish. This supporting female lead didn't want to work another day, but the CEO's old butler handed me a check for 100 million, his face full of apology. "Miss Chang, I'm truly sorry. This is for your medical expenses." I suddenly remembered my original reason for being a supporting female lead. "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." I admitted I was a bit loud just now. Next time something this good happens, you absolutely must find me. The white moonlight female lead, Selene, was so distraught that her crying kept our entire ward awake. I reluctantly poked my head out and yelled at her. "Stop crying. He'll wake up in 3 days after his coma. Save your energy, you two still have at least 300 chapters of tormenting each other ahead. You'll have plenty of time to cry." Selene sobbed, not understanding my good intentions, but even the old butler found her crying ominous, so the CEO was transferred to another hospital the next morning. I breathed a sigh of relief, but in the blink of an eye, my ward had another female lead. This time, it was probably a tragic youth romance. The female lead looked pure and youthful, her face full of collagen and stubborn melancholy. She had cut her wrist with a sharp object and lay on the hospital bed. Her long hair, like seaweed, fanned out, and she was extremely frail, her small, pale face almost translucent, which terrified me. I secretly ate my KFC takeout, not even daring to loudly chew a crispy chicken piece, afraid of ruining their romantic atmosphere. Fortunately, the male lead of the tragic youth romance finally arrived. The male lead in a white shirt pushed the door open, his eyes also bloodshot. "Lily, do you think I'll forgive you just like that? Never. I want you to live well so we can descend to hell together." As soon as he finished speaking, the young female lead's small face grew even paler, more translucent. Tears welled up in her eyes, and her whole body was so weak she seemed about to collapse, looking at him as if she wanted to speak but couldn't. This beautiful sadness, like a pear blossom weeping, actually intrigued me, but I still felt somewhat unsatisfied. Until this young female lead seemed to make some kind of decision, I didn't even know what she was thinking anymore. She immediately grabbed a small fruit knife from the old man's nightstand next to her and directly cut her own arm. I sprang up from my hospital bed. "Nurse, quickly, come here," I yelled. "Security, get this idiot out." As a supporting female lead, I couldn't avoid encountering a few idiotic main characters. Looking at this situation, I definitely wouldn't make any money, and I even spilled half a box of my uneaten fried chicken. I didn't have a good expression for the youth romance male lead. "Did you come here to visit or to harm people?" I scolded him directly. "Others at least buy 2 apples when they visit. You came empty-handed, only bringing your mouth and not saying anything sensible." "What, descend to hell? This basement is the morgue. Can't you take the elevator down there yourself and take a look around?" This idiotic youth romance male lead's face was full of disgusting stubbornness and a hard-to-detect hint of anxious tension. One look and I wanted to punch him. I really wanted to, but he was the male lead, and I was just a supporting female lead. I could only swallow my bitterness and return to my bed. On the other side, the female lead was also restrained, panicked, eyes brimming with tears, filled with both love and hatred. At this moment, a nurse pushed in a small cart with instruments and medicine. The doctor told the nurse, "There's only one bag of rare blood left, use it for room 10 first." These words were like a hard slap to the male lead's face. He suddenly sobered up, his whole body trembling. All the past grievances and hatred melted away at this moment, leaving only the person in front of him and her bleeding wound. The male lead was on the verge of going crazy. "This blood is for Lily," he screamed, panicked and deranged. "Save Lily first, Lily must live." We wanted to speak but held back, but the doctor ignored him, telling the nurse to push room 10 for the blood transfusion. This made the male lead's eyes wide, jaw agape. He wished he could snatch it himself. I said, "It's for Lily. Without this blood, she'll die." "Really?" The doctor held up the blood test results, speechless. "She's normal A type blood. How would she die without this? Please explain it to me." I was discharged from the hospital, and the youth romance female lead was transferred to the psychiatric ward. I also thought she really should get a mental health checkup. This was truly terrifying. Cutting yourself with a knife, who could handle that? Out of the hospital, I had bigger things to do. That afternoon, I immediately took the 100 million check from the overbearing CEO and hailed a taxi to the bank. If I remembered correctly, in the novel, the CEO male lead was at risk of bankruptcy. Now that the money was in my pocket, I couldn't let him get entangled with the female lead and watch my hospital fees vanish into thin air. After so many years as a supporting female lead, I had never suffered, and money was my only motivation. So, when the robber shot and shattered the flower pot outside the door, I frantically urged the bank teller, "Hurry up, transfer the money from the check to my card." "Hurry," the teller, trembling with fear, shakily pressed the button. Beep, fingerprint authentication. Transaction complete. Money in the account. I was overjoyed. The very next second, the robber advanced towards us. He raised his hand, intending to slap each of us. I was scared out of my wits. The money had just arrived, and if I died now, all my suffering would be in vain. At that moment, I immediately knelt down and hugged his leg. "Brother, let's talk this out slowly, don't be angry." The robber looked at me suspiciously, but instead of shooting me, he grabbed my collar and dragged me to the bank door as a hostage. A hostage? I immediately became alert, turning my head to look at the other hostage next to me. What met my eyes was an arrogant, stubborn face. Oh no, this is another female lead. Judging by her designer clothes, she's definitely a rich family's female lead. My heart sank a little. I heard the two robbers discussing. "It's good that you took Miss Lynn Hsin as a hostage, but the woman next to her is nothing. Why take her?" The one who grabbed me said. "I don't know either, I just saw her and wanted to take her. Oh, just use her as a human shield." I trembled all over. Miss Lynn Hsin as a human shield? Isn't my life a life too? Wait a minute. I looked at this female lead again and noticed the watch she was wearing must have cost over 100 million. That's right, I was the perfect person to be a human shield for the young lady. A loud explosion echoed and I appeared splendidly. Seeing the robber raise his hand again, intending to slap the female lead twice, I immediately knelt down, hugging the female lead and crying, "Brother, if you want to hit someone, hit me." The female lead was indeed a female lead. She was frail in my embrace, her expression a mix of surprise and bewilderment. The robbers looked at each other. Immediately after, the bank's rolling door was blown open. Under the protection of dozens of bodyguards, a man in a windbreaker, his face also bearing an arrogant and stubborn look, walked in. He scanned the scene, his eyes showing 5 parts indifference, 3 parts disdain, and 2 parts coldness. "How much money do you want to release them?" The two robbers, who had me and the female lead under control, looked at each other. "We don't need money, Mr. Du. We just need you to make a choice. Your childhood sweetheart, Miss Vivi, has been apprehended by our people. Now you can only choose to save one person, your fiancé or your childhood sweetheart." The female lead next to me immediately turned red-eyed, her face showing disbelief, then became ashen as burnt charcoal. How could he save her? She mocked her own blind infatuation. How could he choose her? Sure enough, the male lead furrowed his brows, his expression conflicted and emotional. He stood there thinking for a long time until he looked back at us, his face now cold. You came prepared and not for money, so you want to deal with me. The male lead sneered. If I choose someone, will that person die? The two robbers said nothing. My mouth twitched. So you want to deal with him, why don't you just kidnap him? You can do whatever you want with him. Why kidnap us? The robber glanced at me. At this moment, another person staggered in. He also looked quite rich, young, his heart burning with anxiety, probably the supporting male lead. I choose Lynn H-Sin, the supporting male lead shouted. You can have as much money as you want, I want Lynn H-Sin to live. The female lead looked at him in surprise, her expression complex. Jaidu, you bastard. The supporting male lead, upon arriving, immediately started fighting with the male lead. Do you know H-Sin is carrying your child? How can you hesitate and not choose anyone? It was my turn to have a wonderfully complex expression. The classic love triangle BFF conflict scene was complete. Just as they were fighting fiercely and agonizing over whom to choose, a small red sniper laser dot silently appeared on the robber's forehead. Immediately after, one robber fell backward. The remaining robber was stunned for a moment, but was immediately knocked down by a punch. A swift, fierce figure lunged forward, punching the robber straight in the face. Choose what choose. The young, handsome, plainclothes police officer roared. I want both these hostages. Oh, he must be some kind of male lead too. By the time I left the bank, the police were still lecturing the overbearing CEO male lead and the rich young master. You are all adults. When faced with illegal acts that endanger citizens' lives, how can you so easily compromise with criminals? The police truly don't understand. This isn't a family game. 2 hostages or 3 hostages, losing any one of them is the destruction of a family. Of course, the male lead and supporting male lead didn't pay any attention to what he said. I was used to it. In this world, there are ordinary people, but there are far too many extraordinary ones. Just as I was about to leave, the young lady female lead stopped me. She sincerely expressed her gratitude, then took me to a shopping mall, telling me, today she'll pay for all my expenses. Very good, this is a romance novel. I couldn't resist her enthusiasm and had to walk into a random store, casually looking at a ring. Perhaps this was the fate of a supporting female lead. Just as the saleswoman took out the ring and put it on my finger, a shy voice rang out next to me. I want to see this ring too. I froze. Sure enough, a cold male voice immediately told me, take it off, she's not an ordinary person, it's impossible. The man speaking was about 30 years old, wearing a suit, his expression showing 3 parts coldness, 3 parts arrogance, 3 parts disdain, and 1 part infatuation. One look and you knew he was an overbearing business tycoon. And the small girl next to him was weak and helpless, her face full of naive stupidity. It turned out to be the overbearing CEO and his little wife. But at this moment, the woman next to me was not to be trifled with. The young lady refused to back down after hearing him, so she took out her bank card, threw it on the counter, and casually said, no need to take it off, we've bought it. That's right, she was the rich, well-off female lead. At that moment, her impulsiveness immediately flared up. The man frowned at this, but the overbearing CEO has never disappointed me. Sure enough, the man immediately took out his own unlimited black card, casually throwing it on the counter, his words radiating arrogance. He sneered, we'll pay double for this ring. At that moment, the young lady's expression darkened. She also gave a cold laugh. I'll pay triple. Oh my God, one sentence made the overbearing male lead and the overbearing female lead compete, spending hundreds of thousands for me. Even the sales assistant was almost in tears. They checked the inventory. This diamond ring was indeed the only one left. It happened to fit my finger and the white rabbit female leads. The overbearing male lead, without hesitation, ordered me, you give way to Ruru because today is her birthday. The rich young lady sneered. Business is business, the highest bidder wins. Why should we give way to you? Seeing these 2 overbearing main characters almost come to blows on the spot. All right, I said, pulling the young lady back a bit and smiling. I'll give this one to you. Can you pay for me to buy another one? Isn't it just money? The overbearing CEO male lead, with money to spare, immediately agreed without thinking. So in the top luxury jewelry store, the male lead, overflowing with emotion, took the shy white rabbit female lead's soft hand and helped her put on the ring. It was extremely irritating to watch. I, holding the male lead's card, became even more overflowing with emotion and immediately swiped it on the POS machine. Isn't it just a 3-carat diamond ring? What's there to keep yielding back and forth about? I casually swiped his card and bought 2 large, pigeon's egg-sized Namkara diamond rings. Yes, I bought 2. This male lead might not seem very intelligent, but he really has money. I swiped hundreds of millions, and the bank didn't say a word, didn't even call to confirm the spending. While the overbearing CEO was still indulging in sweet intimacy with his white rabbit and hadn't noticed the unusual spending, I directly instructed the saleswoman to pack the rings, immediately stuffed both rings into my bag, and pulled the young lady female lead out of the store. May you two have 100 years of happiness and many precious children soon. I ran off. I left your card on the table. They didn't pay attention to their surroundings, still in their sweet embrace, and didn't notice me at all. The young lady was stunned. She was still engrossed in the angry emotions of competing with someone else. It's nothing, he volunteered. I took a 5-carat diamond ring out of my bag and put it on her, generously giving it to her. The young lady's hand trembled. She hadn't expected that after being a wealthy family's female lead for 20 years, the first 5-carat diamond ring she received would be from a strange, supporting female lead. She thought for a moment, then took off the ring and handed it back to me. I don't want that man's things, she said with a hint of disgust. Irritated, I got angry. I used my skills to make a man swipe his card to buy you a diamond ring. This is me giving you this diamond ring. I used my skills to make him pay. It's me who paid, it's me who bought it. She was dumbfounded, clearly dizzy from my logic. Such an action, if placed in a heart-wrenching romance novel, would be considered explosive. My righteous eloquence truly shocked her for 100 years, so she could only say, "Then thank you." I waved my hand, satisfied. No need to thank me. The young lady, wearing that enormous diamond ring, stared blankly as I walked away with a flourish. Suddenly, she seemed to remember something. She chased after me and asked, "Can we meet again?" I turned back and asked her, "Why do you want to meet me?" She hesitated a bit. "Because you're a bit strange," she said, "but I don't think being strange is bad." "Oh, come on," I waved my hand. "I'm just a supporting female lead, you'll forget me as soon as you turn around." She lowered her face and softly said, almost to herself, "It's strange, I'm the female lead. Actually, it's already very good this way, always being protected by others, not needing to work, just clinging to a man. But why do you look so much happier than me?" Of course, I knew why she wasn't happy. After all, this world hasn't been bizarre for just a day or two. It's always been like this. Overbearing CEOs fill the streets, soft female leads are everywhere, and the scripts are all the same. I could close my eyes and recount the next plot points. Because the male lead is forever overbearing, cold, seductive, and arrogant, while the female lead must be soft, kind, pure, and passively endure everything. They can do whatever they want, while the female leads can't do anything but curry favor with the male lead, passively waiting for others' pity. A person without power, without authority, is called a female lead. How can such a person be happy? Pies don't fall from the sky, but Lynn Dayu, a delicate beauty, might. The second day after we parted ways, the young lady really contacted me. She had investigated me, found out I opened a small company, and then sent someone to give me a business cooperation invitation. Such good fortune? The starving old lady misses her rice. Upon receiving the call, I immediately took my USB with company documents to her company. The result was that as soon as I pushed open the office door, I saw her brother. All right, a female lead like her also has no right to inherit the family business. Are you satisfied with what you see? The CEO brother nodded at me, very arrogantly. Girl, for my sister's sake, I'll give you a chance to impress me. This soft meal suddenly became hard to swallow. Oh well, to make money, I'm not afraid of losing face. So I rattled on about the cooperation plan for 3 hours. I talked until the CEO brother's butt was numb. His legs were really numb, but he still stubbornly insisted. Very well, you are a troublesome woman. Fine, I'll increase the project value by 10% as compensation for mental distress. But the young lady's family was indeed a huge enterprise. Her CEO brother casually evaluated the project and signed the contract on the spot. He said with satisfaction, "Good, from now on, you are my person." Hearing this, my eyes almost flew out. You can have my person, but you can't have my heart. What do I need your heart for? He looked at me, puzzled and speechless with disdain. I just need your labor. I've invested in your project. Do well, don't let me lose money. What are you thinking? Don't forget your identity, you're playing with fire. With these words alone, in the CEO world, they'd be considered absolute garbage. Yet he still disdained me. My jaw dropped in disbelief. But then he suddenly smiled. My sister said you're very strange. Girl, you're really unlike anyone else. This CEO brother looked at me with great interest. Normal women who come to this office to see me are here to beg for their father's or brother's company, but you're here for your own company. Perhaps I've been out of touch with society for too long. I didn't realize women could open companies now. I said bluntly, there's a lot more you haven't realized. He choked on his coffee. Very well, girl, you truly are different, and that makes me very interested. The CEO brother said, a woman like you, struggling on her own, must be very hard, right? Finding a man to lean on and let him support you would be much more comfortable and easy. Oh my God, even the CEO's arrogant afternoon remarks didn't shock me as much as this one. So I also smiled. If such a good man exists, why don't you find one? I turned to question him. Why are you so determined to hold on to your family company and not let go? Why don't you give it to your sister and then stay home, never leaving? The CEO brother was stunned. His expression went from surprise to anger to bewilderment. Without waiting for his reaction, I glared at him. This blessing, do you want it? You definitely don't want it. If you don't want it, why should I? Customers serve food, I change tables. Customers offer wine, I don't drink. Customers sing karaoke, I change the song. With such a spirit, I am a flood in the workplace. The CEO had not only never met a woman like me, so he was furious, unable to even utter his usual arrogant remarks. Girl, you're challenging my limits, I absolutely refuse. What limits? It's not in the contract, I don't recognize it. I held the contract, pointing to the breach clause. Or, how about this, let's not cooperate anymore. You breached the contract, and you have to compensate my company $50 million. Thank you for your consideration. The overbearing CEO choked. If he paid this amount, his behavior would be very much like an overbearing CEO, spending money like water. But if he really paid, wouldn't he look like an idiot? Clearly, the overbearing CEO didn't want to look like an idiot, and the landlord's family also had no actual grain reserves left. He just wanted me to scram immediately. If I had to go, I'd go, lose face, but not the battle. I slammed the door and left on the spot, slamming it hard to express my dissatisfaction. Seeing the CEO in a rage, his young secretary nervously escorted me to the door. Our CEO isn't a bad person. I'm fine, I don't think he's a bad person, I just think he's not a good thing. We passed by the door of a large conference room. A man with a gloomy aura had cornered a weak woman. He seemed deranged, his eyes bloodshot, his movements abnormal. I said I'd lock you up, not let anyone see you. How dare you go out to work and attend meetings? Now everyone has seen you. What am I to do with these people attending this meeting? The male lead gave a dangerous, cold smile. He caressed the female lead's face, his words slow, each one like a serpent spitting venom. Do you like being seen like this, or should I give you their eyes? The female lead was stubborn and sad like a white flower. It was all my idea, it has nothing to do with them. I accidentally walked by and was also added to the list of eye-gouging victims. The young secretary and I exchanged glances. What kind of yandir forbidden love male lead is this? I peeked into the conference room. Brother, there are at least over 100 people. Can you beat them all and gouge out their eyes? The yandir male lead froze. He looked into the conference room, and at the same time, over 100 employees on the eye-gouging list also quietly looked at him. They are many, we are few. Few cannot defeat many. The yandir was silent for a moment. He wasn't stupid, he could only grit his teeth. This time, I'll let you off. Oh, you know how to compromise. The yandir couldn't stand me either. He fumed at the young secretary. Who is this girl? Why is she here? The young secretary dared not speak. In just 10 short minutes, 2 men had already chased me away. I was furious. But immediately after, the young secretary's phone rang. She answered, listened for 2 sentences, then looked stunned before handing the phone to me. As I reached out to take it, I heard the overbearing CEO's voice. I hear it's noisy outside. What kind of madness are you stirring up again? My face remained expressionless. I simply hung up. When he called again, I answered and hung up again. The overbearing CEO was furious. Immediately after, a man with a gloomy face appeared in the hallway. He walked aggressively, clearly with no good intentions. I saw the situation was bad and quickly ran away. Stop right there, he yelled, very angry. You damn woman, do you think you can escape? I turned back and smiled at him, then ran faster. Perhaps in just an hour of interaction with me, the overbearing CEO had already evolved. This smile truly created a brief connection between him and me. I can escape. Of course I can escape. I didn't lose my legs, I can't escape. At the company entrance, I ran wildly, then crashed into the young lady. The young lady female lead was anxious. Brother, I told you she's my savior. Why are you chasing her out? The overbearing CEO, furious and dizzy, ran up panting. He had lost all reason, not even caring about others' stares, reaching out to grab me. I immediately hid behind the young lady. The young lady also got angry. "Brother," the overbearing CEO suddenly sobered up. He took deep, continuous breaths. "Hello, boss," I meekly replied. "I know I'm good, but you don't have to chase me like this." The overbearing CEO was so angry he almost fainted, but the young lady didn't know the situation. She held my hand. "Last time I didn't even get to thank you or buy you anything. My brother said he'd give you a project to make money. Has the contract been signed yet?" I nodded. Thank you, it's signed. No need to be so polite." She smiled sadly, a little lonely. "If only I could be like you." This remark made the overbearing CEO sober up. He frowned, his voice cold. "Is that brat Jai-do bullying you again?" The young lady lowered her face. "It's okay, brother," she said softly. "He's parked outside. It's not good if he hears this. This is my fate." The overbearing CEO immediately flew into a rage. His face turned green and he no longer paid attention to me. He strode quickly to the door. I also looked in that direction. Sure enough, the rich young master, the male lead who was surrounded by bodyguards in the bank last time, had also arrived. In the young master's eyes, there was still the familiar formula. 5 parts indifference, 3 parts disdain, 2 parts coldness. He lazily opened his mouth to call out, "Brother Yuan?" The overbearing CEO immediately punched him straight in the face. The young master fell to the ground on the spot. The situation suddenly became chaotic. The bodyguards frantically protected the young master, while the company's security rushed to help their CEO. The overbearing CEO directly fought with the young master. "I told you, you have to treat that girl well, otherwise I won't let you off." The overbearing CEO was still a bit stronger. He roared, "Is bullying women what a man does?" The young master's face was bruised and utterly disheveled, but he also gave a cold laugh. We made it clear it was a contract marriage. She was the one who didn't keep her word and intentionally made things difficult for Vivi. Vivi was already unwell and now has left kidney failure. She owes Vivi and should compensate her. The young lady stood silently beside me, unconsciously clenching her hands, her fingernails digging into her palms. The overbearing CEO became even angrier hearing this, but he wasn't good with words and didn't know how to refute. Sin is carrying your child. Can't one adult and one child together be worth more than your cousin?" The young master sneered repeatedly. "That child of hers was conceived through scheming. How can she compare?" Hearing this, the young lady's face immediately darkened. The overbearing CEO was stunned, which gave the young master an opportunity. Seeing his chance, the young master stood up and landed a heavy punch on his brother-in-law. This punch immediately made the overbearing CEO's nose bleed. At this point, all the plot points were unfolding as expected. Perhaps it was because she was the female lead that she had to passively endure all the pain, longing for the male lead's love and pity. Even when full of injuries, she had to make way for the deep love of the other party, who was pursuing a wife belatedly. As if this was our fate, the fate of all female leads in romance novels. But the furious, overbearing CEO covered his bleeding nose. When he turned his head, he suddenly saw me. At that moment, his anger flared, a surge of fury rising to his throat. "All right, Jaidu, you brought this upon yourself?" The CEO gritted his teeth. "You, come here. If you make him die of anger, I'll pay you." Ordered by the sugar daddy, I didn't move for a moment. I took the young lady's hand, opened it, not letting her continue to dig her fingernails into her palm and hurt herself. She looked at me blankly. "Why is it like this?" She shed tears. "Why does he treat me like this? Why is my life like this?" That's right. According to the plot, she really should shed tears and no one would answer. I was silent for a moment. "Because this world has very low expectations for men," I answered her, "but for us, it's very harsh." "That's right, because she's the female lead. She has to be weak, helpless, brainless, passively waiting for a man to save her forever, enduring all harm and even ensuring the happy ending. Just like us women, we are innately bad at science. We have to spend a lot of time and effort maintaining our beauty. We can't inherit our family's business. We have to meticulously care for our hair, skin, and nails, scrutinizing and fault-finding the shortcomings of our peers. Our self-worth is entirely dependent on how well we can cling to a man. She can be a mistress, a wife, or a lover. In any case, a female lead cannot be an ordinary person. The young lady was also silent. She said, "I don't want to be treated like this. I want to be a bit more normal. I want to live better." I advised her. "All right. If you become a normal person, what should you do?" The young lady fell into thought. "That's right." Use the mindset of an ordinary person to face the current situation. Use the mindset of a complete, whole person to do this. She thought for a moment, then looked back at the man in front of her. The young lady asked, "You said Vivi's kidney failure was caused by me. Do you have proof?" The male lead young master was stunned, but he quickly reacted, his attitude arrogant and disdainful. "Only you don't like her, so it must be you who harmed her. What proof do I need?" The young lady nodded. "Okay," she said, "so what do you want to do now? What else can I do?" The male lead young master looked at her, his eyes full of disgust. "She got seriously ill because of you. This is what you owe her, so you must donate a kidney to her. That's fair." "Excellent. Is this a kidney heist?" I really didn't expect the overbearing CEO's expression to change either. The overbearing CEO wiped the blood from his nose, even more arrogantly. "Your cousin is just a lowlife. How can she be worthy of my sister's kidney? You, Jaidu, it's getting cold. I think your family should go bankrupt." I was initially furious, but hearing his statement, I choked. The overbearing CEO patted my shoulder, gritting his teeth. "Hurry up, girl. Use all your skills. Provoke him to death for me." "Me? I don't have such skills." Seeing me and the overbearing CEO arguing, the young lady shook her head. She looked back at the male lead young master, quietly turning on the video recording function on her phone. "Excuse me, I wasn't paying attention just now. Could you please repeat that for me?" The young master was stunned, but he didn't suspect anything. After all, women in this world are all like this, weak, beautiful, brainless. How dare they scheme against a great and excellent male lead? So without hesitation, he said in his deep, cold voice, "Vivi lost a kidney because of you. I want you to hand over your kidney right now for her transplant. Of course, I will pay you a sum of money as compensation." Lynn Aitchison was silent for a moment. She said, "You mean you'll pay to buy my kidney, right? Even if I don't agree, you'll forcefully take me against my will. Are you planning forced organ trafficking?" The male lead young master gave a cold laugh. He was very arrogant. "That's right." The young lady sighed, stopped the video recording, and made a phone call. 10 minutes later, police cars arrived, sirens wailing. Fully armed police officers leapt out like tigers and wolves, all handsome, another group of male leads as police officers, apprehending the young master on the spot. The male lead young master couldn't believe it. His shirt was wrinkled, his hair disheveled, wearing golden rose handcuffs, restrained between two police officers, simply unbelievable. He shouted, "How could you treat me like this?" The young lady didn't even look at him, calmly submitting the video as evidence. "Vivi's condition was originally caused by you. If not, who else harmed her? This is what you owe her." "Order," the police shouted loudly. "You are the one attempting illegal organ trafficking, aren't you? Take him away." So we all watched as the young master was taken straight to the police station. I am a supporting female lead, always on the go, working everywhere. But today was a special day. Today, in this insane world, I made a friend. Her name is Lynn Aitchison, a young lady. What will happen next? She was a bit confused because she had caused the male lead young master to be taken away by the police. From now on, there will be no male leads in my life. Without a male lead, how can I become a female lead? I said. Then don't be a female lead. Anyway, your female lead status is all about physical and mental torment. Not being one is fine too. Looked at me and suddenly smiled. "That's right," she said. "Not being one is fine too." The overbearing CEO next to her, seeing his sister being taken away, felt like he was about to be carried away by the wind. He didn't understand, but he was very shocked. The overbearing CEO absolutely couldn't accept it. He pulled me and asked, "If she's not a female lead, what will she do? What about my sister?" I impatiently pushed him away. "If she doesn't want to, then she doesn't. She lives her life. As long as she lives well, that's enough." "How do you know she can live well?" He was almost going crazy. "You've never been a female lead yourself." His words stopped. The overbearing CEO looked at me in astonishment. I smiled at him. "I wasn't a supporting female lead before either," I said. "I'm doing very well now. Isn't that good?" This world is crazy, absurd, and preposterous. Simone de Beauvoir wrote in The Second Sex, "They lock women in the kitchen or bedroom, then are surprised by her narrow vision. They break her wings, then complain she cannot fly." I hope everyone will open up a future for her. She will no longer be bound to the present. May we look far, may we fly high, may we forever be fearless and bravely move forward. M.